Hi everyone, Tara back again, and today I'm speaking with Krista Helman, who specializes in trauma and sees a variety of clients. Hi Krista, thank you so much for doing this with me. So basically, do you want to just start off by introducing yourself, let us know who you are, what you do, and what kind of services that you offer?
Sure. So I'm a registered social worker. And aside from, working full-time in my private practice now, I also have experience working as a social worker in a hospital environment. I'm also a mom of children. And so I bring personal experience as well as my professional training and experience with me. And so I specialize in trauma. I also work a lot with parents and children, whether that be regarding blending families, behavioral issues, relationship breakup, or breakdown. And I'm trained in a particular kind of therapy called EMDR, which is a way of working with trauma, which has been empirically proven to help with traumatic memories and thoughts.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so today we're talking about relating all of this kind of back to the COVID-19 situation, why some of us might feel traumatized given what is going on. So I'm going to kind of let you take it from there and chat, and then if I have any questions, I'll jump in.
For sure. So why might we feel re-traumatized or traumatized? So if we start off from the very beginning, when we are children, we're little sponges. And that's when we're forming the blueprint of life. What does it mean to be a mother, a father, a child, a neighbor? And when we're a child, that's when we also form an understanding of, okay, what does it mean when the environment looks and feels like this? And how do we respond to that? And that gives us information as we get older. And as we form new memories and have new experiences, we just add to that narrative. And so the COVID-19 pandemic can really tap into some of those earlier blueprints that were formed, but it can also create some new traumatic environments and feelings. So let's talk about that a little bit. So for example, isolation, where a lot of us are basically in self-isolation right now. And isolation can be, it can feel very alone, but it can also bring up some memories of feeling abandoned as a child. So not only can it be very lonely right now, but it can also bring up some past memories and thoughts as well. Some people may be trapped at home with an abuser because of self-isolation. So not only is it, an uncomfortable situation, but for some people it can actually be, there can be risk to harm. Some of us are feeling really overwhelmed, being in the same household. A lot of the time, if we have children, our children go off to school, we go off to work. And so our lives have sort of really been disrupted. And on top of that, some of us are also trying to still work full time while having children at home. So we're trying to balance all of that, all those feelings. Some of us are dealing with fear. So fear of running out of resources. Is there enough food? Is there enough toilet paper? Right? These are all very real fears that are happening now and in the moment. Some people might be afraid of or worried about the burden on the economy with what's happening now and what's going to happen in the future. Some people might even be worried about, the state of our national security. And of course, there's that very real fear of either yourself getting sick or someone you love getting sick. And again, that's another present ongoing risk that's happening. It's not a trauma that's happened in the past. That's something that's ongoing. And that can be really challenging to work with. As well, some of us are dealing with loss. So loss of a career, loss of our business, loss of income. There's a lot of grief going on. Loss of way of life. Kids are now, trying to finish school at home. Well, that's a loss for the children as well as for, for us adults. A loss of perceived freedom. A lot of people may feel that loss of not being able to just go hang out at the park anymore. No, you have to walk. You can't stop. That very simple thing can feel like a loss. And of course, the loss of a loved one. Some of us are experiencing that very real loss of a loved one. So what can we do? So there's a variety of things we can do to help cope. One of, more basic things that we can do are grounding and calming techniques. Breathing is a real common one that a lot of us hear about. So when I'm with clients, I often help them, learn some breathing techniques. For example, breathing in for 4 seconds and breathing out for 4 seconds, and doing that 4 times. It calms the body, changes the channel, really has a lot of health benefits as well. When I work with kids, I get them to do something called cookie breathing, where I get them to imagine their most favorite, giant cookie hovering in front of them. And I ask them to describe to me what the cookie looks like. And we pretend that the cookie just came out of the oven. And I say, okay, take a deep breath and smell it in. It smells so delicious. And then take a deep breath out and cool it down. And it's teaching them the proper breathing technique, but also have some fun with it as well. And the same benefits as the other type of breathing. Guided meditations are great for grounding. There's a lot of great ones out there on YouTube. There's apps. I've heard of great reviews from the app Headspace. So those can be something that you can do on your own. We can try and focus on the beauty around us. So we might not be able to go out for a walk, but maybe we can sit on our back step and just take a deep breath and just listen to the birds. Just hear the silence of maybe cars not driving so much. Just breathe that fresh air. Notice that there's buds on the trees. Just take a moment and focus on the beauty. So if we're feeling a bit overwhelmed, we can do things to distract ourselves as well. Not permanently. I've seen there's some pressure out there, and there's some sayings about, if you haven't learned a new skill, or, then you really weren't, paying attention or working that hard. And I'm very much against that, because I feel like we really need to give ourselves a break. There's a lot of us going through a lot of emotion, and we need to have some self-compassion. So distraction can look like walking around the room, saying out loud, and counting 5 things that are blue. Again, changing the channel, grounding yourself in the moment, and just sort of that temporary distraction. We can make a wish list or a to-do list, scratch it off as you do it. Feels great, feels like you're productive as well at the same time. But nothing, don't make it too, you don't have to totally reorganize your entire house, but maybe, I don't know, maybe your underwear drawer might be a good idea, right? Start with something small and attainable. The other thing that we can do is remember to exercise. Get that dopamine and all those other beneficial neurotransmitters flowing. That could look like going for a walk, playing with your dog, again, yoga online. There's some free yoga videos out there. And also to really listen and notice those signs of stress. Our body talks to us all the time, and we do a good job as adults. We've learned to ignore our body. Every time you have a thought or a feeling, there's always an associated body communication as well. So does that mean you're having a headache more often than usual? Are you feeling a little bit irritable? Are you tired? Are you drinking more? Those are all signs that your body is sending you, trying to give you information. Reaching out to somebody is a really great way of coping. So reaching out to someone for yourself to talk, or, for their benefit. If not for your benefit, reach out for their benefit. I've heard lots of great stories of, people who might only get to see each other, once every 6 months, but because of technology and because of the situation we're in, now they can chat, once a week and have a multi-FaceTime with a whole bunch of people, so that, that's sort of the beauty of technology in the age that we're in. So the other thing that we can do is practice, the positives, try and find that silver lining. We look around, we've seen those, some of us have seen those pictures on Facebook of, the smog disappearing and the animals returning to the streets. It's comical, but it's also, that's a silver lining. That's the, basically the earth sending us a message that maybe we need to slow down, and just maybe notice also, like I said, that increased connectivity as humanity, right? No time have we ever all been going through this at the same time. And, just try and normalize what's going on. Follow a schedule if you can. And it might not look like, very rigid, from 8 to 9 this, from 9 to 10 this. It might just be every day I'm going to get dressed. And then I'm going to have, at least 1 hour of screen-free time or 30 minutes of sitting outside. It doesn't have to be big, but maybe have some kind of schedule. And just having, again, that self-compassion for yourself and for others. And remember that it's normal for things to not feel normal for now, right? And everybody is going through this and dealing with it in their own way, in a different way. And that's okay. We're all doing the best that we can.
Yeah.
So those are like just some real quick off the top of my head, things that we can do to just help cope with what's going on. And it really comes down to just taking a deep breath and embracing that we can slow down and maybe try and have a little bit of compassion for ourselves and for others around us.
Yeah. And thank you for that, because I think that that's huge. I think that, a lot of people aren't recognizing this as necessarily a traumatic event in the traditional way. So I think it's really important that, that you talk about honoring what you are feeling. And those are really some great tips and tricks on what you can do right now in the current situation to help. So thank you so much for doing this and for offering this information. And one thing I do want to just touch base on is, so you are still offering services, correct?
I am, yes. So I'm seeing clients through a telehealth portal, very similar to Zoom, and I am still accepting clients. I'm limiting working with children at this time, unless I've already have them on my caseload, and instead I'm offering to work with the parents instead, and trying to help the parents maybe get some skills and techniques to work with the kids at this time. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see why that would be. So if somebody did want to reach out to you, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
So I have a website. It's helmancounseling.com. And on my website, it talks about the services that I offer, my fee, and you can even book an appointment online right from my website.
Perfect. Again, thank you so much for doing this with me. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.